Ju-Ri Kim stood with her back straight as the strange purple lights of the Ardani ship flashed around her. Her hands were tied behind her back. 5 other humans stood in line with her. They were the first humans to meet the aliens from another world. They were supposed to be diplomats. Now they were prisoners. "Please," said Dr. Han, the team leader. "We come in peace. There must be a way to talk." The tall Ardani guard hit Dr. Han with the back of his hand. Dr. Han fell to his knees. His lip was bleeding. "Humans do not speak unless asked," said the guard in perfect English. His skin was blue-gray and tight across his face. His eyes were large and black. "Commander Tarek will decide what happens to you now." Ju-Ri bit her lip to stay quiet. She was the team's language expert. 6 months ago, when strange signals came from space, she was the one who had started to figure out the Ardani language. The aliens seemed peaceful at first. They invited a small human team to visit their ship, but as soon as the humans boarded, everything changed. The doors at the end of the room slid open. A taller Ardani walked in. His uniform had more decorations than the others. "I am Commander Tarek," he said. His voice was cold. "Your species is new to us. Primitive. Weak." He walked along the line of humans, looking at each one carefully. When he reached Ju-Ri, he stopped. He stared at her for a long time. "This one," he said, pointing at Ju-Ri. "She is the language worker." "Yes, Commander," said one of the guards. "She is the one who learned some of our words from the signals." Commander Tarek nodded. "She may be useful." He turned to the other guards. "Take the rest for testing, then disposal." Ju-Ri's eyes went wide. "No," she shouted. "Please don't hurt them." Dr. Han looked at her with sad eyes. "Stay strong, Ju-Ri," he said as guards dragged him away. Commander Tarek watched her closely. "Interesting. You care for the others even now." Ju-Ri said nothing. Inside, her heart was breaking. Outside, she kept her face calm. She would remember everything. Every detail about these aliens could be important. The guards took Ju-Ri to a small room with just a bed and a desk. The door locked behind her. Through a small window, she could see stars and a piece of the Ardani homeworld. It was a planet with 3 moons and rings like Saturn. 3 days later, Commander Tarek came to her room. "Your friends are gone," he said, "but you will live. You will work for us. You will help us understand human languages and codes." Ju-Ri's hands shook, but her voice was steady. "Why would I help you?" Commander Tarek smiled, showing sharp teeth. "Because you want to live, and because you are curious. Don't humans always want to learn?" He was right about that part. Ju-Ri was curious, and she would learn. She would learn everything about the Ardani, their technology, their weaknesses, their plans. "I will help," she said simply. Over the next weeks, Ju-Ri was taken to a research center. She was given alien texts to translate. She worked with Ardani scientists who treated her like a smart animal. They never saw how carefully she watched them. They never noticed how she studied their computer systems while pretending to only focus on languages. At night, alone in her room, Ju-Ri made mental notes of everything she learned. Ship layouts, guard patterns, technology details. The Ardani thought she was just a tool. They didn't understand humans at all. "I will wait," she whispered to herself in the dark. "I will learn. And someday, somehow, I will make them pay." Outside her window, the 3 moons of the Ardani world moved slowly across the night sky. Ju-Ri watched them and counted days. She would be patient, very patient. 5 years passed. Ju-Ri sat at her workstation in the Ardani Research Center. Her fingers moved quickly over the alien keyboard. On the screen, strange symbols flashed and changed. To anyone watching, she was doing her daily work, translating human texts into Ardani for their war plans. But Ju-Ri was doing something else, something secret. Officer Hyun-Ki walked into the room. He was Ju-Ri's guard and handler. He was younger than most Ardani officers, and less cruel. Still working, human? He asked. He always called her human instead of her name. Ju-ri quickly switched her screen back to her assigned work. Yes, officer. Almost done with today's texts. Hyun-ki looked at her work and nodded. You are a good worker. Better than we expected from your kind. He almost sounded like he was giving a compliment. Thank you, officer, Ju-ri said quietly. She kept her eyes down, looking humble and tired. This was how she always acted around the Ardani. Quiet, obedient, harmless. But Ju-ri was not harmless. For 5 years, she had watched and learned. She knew more about Ardani technology now than any human in history, and she had found something important, a flaw in their communication system. When Hyun-ki left the room, Ju-ri went back to her secret work. The Ardani used quantum communication, faster than light. It was how they talked to their ships across the galaxy. But there was a flaw, a way to send a message that they wouldn't detect. Ju-ri had spent months preparing her message. It contained everything she had learned. Ardani ship designs, weapon systems, shield technology, and most important, their plans to attack Earth. Her heart beat faster as she worked. If she was caught, they would kill her, but she had to try. Earth needed to know. Earth needed to prepare. The next day, when the research center was quiet, Ju-ri made her move. She had 10 minutes while the guards changed shifts. She went to the main communication room and plugged in a small device she had built from stolen parts. Her hand shook as she typed in Earth's coordinates. The message was coded in a special way that only her old friend Na-young would understand. Na-young Park had worked with Ju-ri before the mission. If anyone on Earth was still looking for her, it would be Na-young. Please be there, Ju-ri whispered as she sent the message. Please find this. Just as she finished, she heard footsteps. She quickly removed her device and pretended to check the regular systems. Hyun-ki walked in, his eyes narrow with suspicion. What are you doing here, human? This room is restricted. Ju-ri bowed her head. Forgive me, officer. Commander Tarek asked me to check the translation matrix in the main system. I have finished now. Hyun-ki looked around the room, then at the control panel. Everything looked normal. Next time, wait for an escort. His voice was stern but not angry. Yes, officer, it won't happen again. As Ju-ri walked back to her quarters that night, she felt different. For 5 years, she had been waiting, watching, learning. Now she had acted. Her message was traveling through space toward Earth. Would anyone receive it? Would anyone believe it? She had no way to know. In her small room, Ju-ri looked out at the 3 moons of the Ardani world. She had learned the Ardani word for patience. It was the same as their word for weakness. They didn't understand the power of waiting, of watching. I am not weak, Ju-ri said to the moons. I am patient. And patience is a weapon too. She went back to her daily routine. She would continue to be the quiet, helpful human. And she would continue to learn more Ardani secrets. The message was sent. Now all she could do was wait again. Na-young Park sat alone in her small office at Earth Defense Command. The walls were covered with star maps and pictures of the lost diplomatic team. In the center was a photo of Ju-ri Kim, her best friend. 5 years had passed since they disappeared, but Na-young never stopped looking. Her computer beeped. A new signal had been detected. Na-young sighed. Every day, she checked hundreds of space signals, hoping to find something from the missing team. She opened the file and froze. The signal pattern looked strange. Not quite Ardani, not quite human. It reminded her of a code she and Ju-ri had made up in college. It can't be, Na-young whispered. Her hands shook as she began to decode the signal. 3 hours later, Na-young ran through the halls of the command center. She burst into Admiral Ta-woo's office without knocking. Admiral, I found her. I found Ju-ri. Admiral Ta-woo looked up from his desk. He was an older man with a serious face and gray hair. Dr. Park, this better be important. It is, sir. Look at this. Ne Young put a tablet on his desk. This signal came in today. It's from Juri Kim. She's alive, and she sent us information about the Ardani. The Admiral frowned. Dr. Park, we've been through this before. The diplomatic team is gone. We must accept that. Please, just look at the data, sir. Admiral Ta Wu sighed but began to read. His eyes widened. This has shield specifications, weapons systems, fleet movements. He looked up at Ne Young. If this is real, it's the most valuable intelligence we've ever received. It's real, sir. And there's more. Ne Young's voice became urgent. The Ardani are planning a full attack on Earth. Soon. Juri risked everything to warn us. The Admiral stood up. Get me the Defense Council. Now. 2 days later, Ne Young sat in a large meeting room with Earth's top military leaders. Admiral Ta Wu showed them the data from Juri's message. Thanks to this intelligence, we can now see the Ardani ships moving toward our solar system, he said, pointing to a large screen. They think we are blind to their approach, but now we can prepare. How do we know this information is reliable? Asked General Min. It could be a trap. Ne Young spoke up. The message contains personal details only Juri would know, and the technical data matches everything we've learned about Ardani technology. Admiral Ta Wu nodded. I believe it's genuine, and I propose we do more than just defend. I propose Operation Thunderstorm. He showed them a plan on the screen. Using the shield specifications in this message, we can modify our stealth ships to approach the Ardani homeworld undetected. We will send a small team to extract Juri Kim and gather more intelligence. The room was quiet for a moment. Then General Min spoke. This is very risky, Admiral. Yes, said Ta Wu. But this brave woman has given us a chance we never expected. We owe it to her to try. The council voted. Operation Thunderstorm was approved. 1 week later, Ne Young stood in the launch bay, watching as Captain Do Hyun Kang and his Special Forces team prepared to board their ship. Bring her back, Ne Young said to Captain Do Hyun. She's waited long enough. Do Hyun nodded. We will, and we'll make the Ardani regret the day they took her. As the stealth ship took off, Ne Young watched through the window. Somewhere across the stars, her friend was waiting. Juri had been patient for 5 years. Now Earth would answer. We're coming, Juri, Ne Young whispered. Just wait a little longer. Captain Do Hyun Kang stood at the view screen of the stealth ship as it approached the Ardani homeworld. The planet looked beautiful from space, with its 3 moons and rings of purple light. But Do Hyun knew the danger that waited below. Final checks, he said to his team. We have one shot at this. Sang-hoon, the team's tactical expert, nodded. Shields are modified according to Juri's specs. The Ardani sensors can't see us. Jae-soo, the tech specialist, was typing fast on her computer. I've loaded the facility map she sent. The research center is in the northern city. Han Gyeol, the combat medic, checked his medical bag, ready to extract our target and treat any injuries. Do Hyun looked at each of them. They were the best team Earth had. Remember, this is more than a rescue mission. The intel Juri Kim has could save our planet. The small ship landed in a forest area 5 miles from the research center. Night had fallen on this side of the Ardani world. The team moved out quickly, wearing special suits that hid their heat signatures. Move in pairs, Do Hyun whispered. Stay off their main roads. The team crept through the strange alien landscape. Blue plants glowed softly in the dark. The 3 moons made enough light to see by. In the distance, the tall buildings of the Ardani city reached up to the sky. Using Juri's map, they found a service entrance to the research center. Jae-soo worked on the security panel. Her codes still work, she said as the door slid open. Inside, they moved carefully through empty hallways. The Ardani night shift had fewer guards, just as Juri had told them. They passed strange labs with glowing equipment. They hid twice when guard patrols passed by. According to the map, the human quarters are on level 3, Sang-hoon said, checking his device. Suddenly, alarms began to sound. Red lights flashed in the hallway. That's not for us, Jisoo said, checking her scanner. Security protocols are changing across the whole facility. Something else is happening. Do-hyun made a quick decision. This could help us or hurt us. Move faster. They took a service lift to level 3. When the doors opened, they came face to face with 2 Ardani guards. Sang-hoon moved fast, using a stun weapon to drop both guards before they could raise an alarm. Drag them in here, Do-hyun ordered. They hid the unconscious guards in a storage room. Han Gyeol pointed down the hall. Room 315. That's where she should be. They moved quickly to the door. Jisoo bypassed the lock. The door slid open. Inside, a human woman stood ready with a makeshift weapon, a metal bar taken from her bed frame. She was thin, with long black hair tied back. Her eyes were fierce and alert. She didn't look surprised to see them. Earth Defense Forces, Do-hyun said quietly. Juri Kim. The woman lowered her weapon slightly. You got my message. Nae-young never stopped looking for you, Do-hyun said. At the mention of her friend's name, Juri's eyes softened for a moment. Then she was all business again. The alarms aren't for you, she said. Security protocols changed yesterday. I think they detected your ship despite the shield modifications. How? Sang-hoon asked. Your specs should have worked. They must have upgraded their systems, Juri said. We need to move now. Officer Hyun-ki will check on me soon when he hears the alarms. Do-hyun nodded. We have an escape route planned. Juri grabbed a small device from under her mattress. I'm ready. 5 years ready. As they moved into the hallway, they heard footsteps approaching fast. Someone's coming, Jisoo whispered. Juri pulled them into a side room. It's Hyun-ki. I know his walk. They waited, weapons ready. As the footsteps came closer, Officer Hyun-ki stopped outside the door where Juri and the rescue team were hiding. His shadow fell across the small window in the door. Everyone held their breath. Weapons ready, Do-hyun whispered. Juri shook her head. Wait, she said softly. The door slid open. Officer Hyun-ki stood there, his tall blue-gray form filling the doorway. He looked at the humans with his large black eyes. For a moment, no one moved. Then Hyun-ki spoke. So they finally came for you. Sang-hoon raised his weapon, but Juri put her hand on his arm. Officer Hyun-ki, she said. Are you going to sound the alarm? Hyun-ki looked at her for a long moment. 5 years, he said. 5 years I have watched you. You never broke. You never begged. You worked and waited. He looked at the other humans. The commander was wrong about humans. You are not weak. He stepped into the room and closed the door behind him. The main guards will check this corridor in 6 minutes. You need to take the service tunnels to the east exit. Do-hyun looked surprised. You're helping us? Hyun-ki turned to him. I am helping her. He pointed at Juri. Many Ardani disagree with how the commander treats other species. Not all of us want war. Juri nodded. I suspected as much. Hyun-ki gave her a small device. This will open the service tunnels. Go quickly. As they prepared to leave, alarms sounded again, louder this time. They know you're here, Hyun-ki said. I must go before they suspect me. He looked at Juri one last time. Good luck, Juri Kim. It was the first time he had used her name. After Hyun-ki left, the team moved quickly. Juri led them to a hidden panel in the wall. The device Hyun-ki gave her opened it to reveal a narrow tunnel. This way, she said. As they crawled through the service tunnels, Jisoo asked, How did you know he would help us? I didn't know for sure, Juri answered. But in 5 years, you learned to read people, even alien people. They reached the end of the tunnel and came out near their planned escape route. His ship was just 2 miles away now. They could make it. But Juri stopped. "Wait," she said. "I need to tell you something important." Do-hyun looked anxious. "We need to keep moving." "Listen to me," Juri insisted. "The Ardeni are planning a full attack on Earth in 2 weeks, but I found a weakness in their defense system. We can stop them before they even start." She showed them the small device she had taken from her room. "This has all my research. Their planetary defense system has a flaw. But to use it, we need to reach their central command node." Han-geol looked worried. "That wasn't part of our mission." "Our mission was to rescue you and get intel," Do-hyun said. "This sounds like an attack mission." Juri's eyes were firm. "This is our only chance. If we leave now, the Ardeni will change all their systems once they know I'm gone. Everything I learned will be useless." "It's too risky," Sang-hoon argued. "We should get back to Earth with what we have." Juri looked at each of them. "For 5 years, I waited. I watched. I learned their weaknesses. We can cripple their ability to attack Earth." Her voice grew stronger. "I didn't just wait to be rescued. I waited to strike back." Do-hyun looked torn. His orders were clear: get Juri and get out. But the chance to stop the Ardeni attack before it began. "If we do this," he said slowly, "we might not make it home." Juri nodded. "I know, but I've been ready to die for 5 years. What I'm not ready to do is run away when we can save Earth." The team fell silent. In the distance, they could hear Ardeni search parties. Time was running out. They had to decide now. Do-hyun looked at Juri with new respect. "Tell us your plan." The small Earth ship flew through space, hidden behind one of the Ardeni moons. Inside, the team gathered around a table. Juri stood at the head, explaining her plan. "The Ardeni planetary defense system has a central control node here," she said, pointing to a map on the screen. "It controls all their shields and weapons." Do-hyun frowned. "That would be the most heavily guarded place on the planet." "Yes," Juri agreed, "but I know how to get in. For 3 years, I translated their security protocols. I know all the access codes." Jae-soo looked impressed. "You memorized them." "I had nothing but time," Juri said simply. Do-hyun contacted Admiral Ta-woo on the secure channel. The Admiral's face appeared on the screen. "Captain, report. Did you find Kim Juri?" "Yes, sir. She's safe, but there's a change of plans." Admiral Ta-woo listened as Do-hyun explained Juri's idea. The Admiral's face grew serious. "This is not your mission, Captain. Your orders were to extract and return." Nae-young appeared beside the Admiral. "Juri, you're alive." Juri smiled for the first time since they found her. "Nae-young, it's good to see you." Nae-young wiped tears from her eyes. "Come home, please." "I can't," Juri said. "Not yet. The Ardeni fleet is ready. They will attack Earth in 2 weeks. We need to stop them now." Admiral Ta-woo spoke again. "The risk is too high. We need the intel you have. Return to Earth immediately." Do-hyun looked at Juri. Her face was determined. "Sir," Do-hyun said to the Admiral, "I believe Kim Juri is right. If we leave now, the Ardeni will change all their systems. The intel will be worthless." The Admiral was quiet for a moment. "What exactly is your plan?" Juri explained how she could insert a special code into the central node. It would create a flaw in the Ardeni shields. Then Earth ships could attack key military bases, not to destroy the Ardeni, but to cripple their ability to attack Earth. "If we succeed," she finished, "we force them to talk peace." Admiral Ta-woo looked thoughtful. "And if you fail?" "Then Earth still has time to prepare," Juri said. "And I die knowing I tried everything I could." Nae-young spoke up. "I believe in Juri. If she says this will work, it will work." The Admiral nodded slowly. "Captain Do-hyun, this is now your call. You're on site. You see the situation. What's your decision?" Do-hyun looked around at his team. Sang-hoon nodded. Ji-soo gave a thumbs up. Han Geol said, "We're with you, Captain." "We'll do it, sir," Do-hyun told the admiral. "Request permission to proceed with Kim Juri's plan." "Permission granted," the admiral said. "I'll position our fleet to take advantage if you succeed. Good luck." After the call ended, the team prepared their equipment. Juri changed into a tactical uniform that Ji-soo gave her. She looked different now, not like a prisoner anymore. "I'm not trained for combat," Juri said. Sang-hoon handed her a small weapon. "Just stay with us. We'll handle the fighting." Do-hyun saw doubt in her eyes. Having second thoughts, Juri shook her head. "No, I've thought about this day for 5 years." She checked the weapons Sang-hoon gave her. "I'm not a soldier, but I'm ready." Han Geol gave her a friendly pat on the shoulder. "You survived 5 years as a prisoner of the Ardani. I think you're tougher than you know." Juri smiled slightly. "Maybe." The ship's pilot called from the front. "Captain, we have a clear approach path. Ready when you are." Do-hyun looked at his team and at Juri. "Everyone ready?" They all nodded. "Then let's go show the Ardani what humans can do." Night had fallen on the capital city of the Ardani world. Tall buildings glowed with blue and purple lights. The central command center stood in the middle, a massive tower reaching up toward the 3 moons. Juri and the team moved through the shadows of the city. They wore cloaks that Hyun-ki had given them. From a distance, they looked like Ardani. "The main entrance is too well guarded," Juri whispered. "We need to use the service entrance on the east side." Do-hyun nodded. "Lead the way." They slipped through narrow streets, avoiding Ardani patrols. Juri moved with confidence. She had studied maps of the city for years, planning for this moment. When they reached the service entrance, Ji-soo checked for alarms. "Clear," she said. Juri stepped forward and placed her hand on the security panel. She entered a long code from memory. The door slid open. "How did you know that would work?" Sang-hoon asked. "Service worker codes rarely change," Juri explained. "The Ardani think their workers are too afraid to share them." Inside, they found themselves in a large supply room. Boxes of equipment lined the walls. "The central node is 50 floors up," Juri said. "We can use the maintenance lifts." As they moved through the building, Juri pointed out security cameras. Ji-soo used a small device to loop their feeds, making them invisible to guards. They'd reached the maintenance lift without being seen. As they rode up, Han Geol asked, "What happens after we reach the central node?" "I'll need 5 minutes to input the code sequence," Juri said. "Once it's done, Earth's fleet can attack the military bases." The lift stopped at the 48th floor. 2 more floors by stairs, Juri said. "The top levels have extra security." They climbed quietly up the stairs. Suddenly, they heard voices above them. Ardani guards were coming down. "Hide," Do-hyun whispered. But there was nowhere to hide on the narrow stairs. Juri quickly stepped forward. "Follow my lead," she told the others. When the guards appeared, Juri spoke to them in perfect Ardani. She moved her hands in the formal greeting pattern. The guards stopped, surprised to see her. She showed them a security badge she had taken from the research center. She spoke quickly, telling the guards that she was escorting special technicians to fix the central node. The guards looked suspicious. One of them reached for his communicator. In that moment, Sang-hoon moved. He fired his stun weapon, dropping both guards before they could call for help. "Nice shot," Ji-soo said. "Nice talking," Do-hyun told Juri. "What did you say to them?" "I told them we were here on Commander Tarek's orders," Juri said. "I knew they would check. It gave us time." They dragged the unconscious guards into a storage room and continued up to the 50th floor. The central node control room had a large security door. "This is it," Juri said. "Once we go in, we'll have about 10 minutes before they realize something is wrong." Ji-soo looked worried. "That's not much time." "It's enough," Juri said. She entered another code on the door panel. Nothing happened. She tried again. Still nothing. They changed this one, she said, frustration in her voice. Suddenly, the door slid open from the inside. Everyone raised their weapons. Commander Tarek stood in the doorway, his tall form blocking the entrance. Behind him, they could see the central node, a large glowing computer system. Jurik Kim, Commander Tarek said. I've been expecting you. His black eyes looked at each human. Did you really think I wouldn't notice when my best translator disappeared? Juri stepped forward, facing the Ardani who had kept her prisoner for 5 years. Hello, Commander, she said calmly. I believe we have unfinished business. Commander Tarek stepped back into the control room, his long blue fingers hovering near his weapon. Come inside, he said. Let's not make this messy. Do-hyun signaled his team to keep their weapons ready. They followed Juri into the large control room. The central node glowed in the middle, a tall column of blue light surrounded by control panels. 5 years, Tarek said, looking at Juri. 5 years I kept you alive, because you were useful. And this is how you repay me. You killed my friends, Juri said calmly. You planned to attack my world. What did you expect? Tarek made a sound that might have been a laugh. I expected you to stay the quiet, obedient human you pretended to be. He moved closer to her. You fooled me. That's rare. Sang-hoon aimed his weapon at Tarek. Step away from her. Tarek ignored him. I have guards coming. You won't leave this room alive. We don't need to leave, Juri said. We just need 5 minutes with that. She pointed to the central node. Impossible, Tarek said. At that moment, the door slid open again. Everyone turned, weapons ready. Officer Hyun-ki stood there with 5 other Ardani. More guards, Do-hyun muttered. But Hyun-ki raised his hand. We are not here to fight you, he said. He turned to Tarek. Commander, this has gone too far. The Council never approved a war with Earth. Tarek's eyes narrowed. Traitor. No, Hyun-ki said. I'm trying to save our people from an unnecessary war. Tarek drew his weapon, but Sang-hoon was faster. The stun blast hit Tarek in the chest. He fell to the floor, unconscious. Hyun-ki moved quickly to the door controls. I can give you 10 minutes. After that, loyal guards will come. Jae-soo ran to the central node. Let's do this fast. Juri joined her at the control panel. Her fingers flew over the alien keyboard. Screams of Ardani text appeared in and changed as she worked. This system controls all planetary defenses, she explained as she worked. I'm creating a gap in their shields. Outside the window, they could see the city spreading out below them. 3 moons hung in the night sky. It looked peaceful. 4 minutes, Hyun-ki warned from the door. Juri kept working. Almost there. On the main screen, a map of the planet appeared with shield coverage shown in blue. Juri entered the final sequence. A section of the blue shield began to flicker. It's working, she said, sending the signal to Earth Fleet now. Jae-soo checked her communicator. Signal sent. Suddenly, the room shook. A distant boom echoed through the building. That's our ships, Do-hyun said. The attack has begun. They watched through the window as lights flashed in the distance. Earth ships appeared in the sky, targeting the military bases around the city. The Ardani were caught completely by surprise, their shields failing exactly where Juri had created the gap. 2 minutes, Hyun-ki called. We need to move. Tarek stirred on the floor. His eyes opened. He looked at Juri with hatred. You've doomed us all, he said. Juri shook her head. No. I've saved both our worlds. This isn't destruction. It's a message. Earth won't allow an attack. Another explosion rocked the building. The lights flickered. Time to go, Do-hyun told his team. As they moved toward the door, Tarek suddenly lunged forward, grabbing a hidden weapon from his boot. He aimed at Juri. Die, human, he shouted. Juri didn't run. She didn't flinch. Instead, she pressed a button on the control panel. A security field activated around Tarek, freezing him in place. "I studied Ardeni security systems for 5 years," she told him calmly. "Did you think I wouldn't know about your personal override codes?" Tarek's eyes widened in shock. "Let's go," Jewry said to the others. As they ran from the room, the city burned around them. Not in destruction, but in precise, targeted strikes. Earth was sending its message to the Ardeni. We are not helpless prey. And Jewry, the quiet prisoner who had waited so patiently, had finally struck back. 3 months later, Jewry Kim stood at the window of a tall building in the Ardeni capital city. This time, she wasn't a prisoner. She was Earth's chief diplomat to the Ardeni. The city had changed. After the attack, the Ardeni military leaders had been forced to step down. Hyum-Ki and his supporters had formed a new government council. They wanted peace with Earth. There was a knock at her door. Na-young entered, carrying data tablets. "Ready for the meeting?" Na-young asked. Jewry nodded. "As ready as I'll ever be." They walked together through halls now filled with both humans and Ardeni. Guards nodded respectfully as they passed. Some of the Ardeni still looked uncomfortable around humans, but times were changing. "I can't believe how much has happened," Na-young said. 3 months ago, we thought you were dead. Now you're negotiating a peace treaty." Jewry smiled. "I had a lot of time to think about what I would do if I ever got the chance." They entered a large room with a round table. Admiral Towu was already there, talking with Captain Do-hyun. On the Ardeni side, Hyum-Ki sat with the new council members. And in a corner, under guard, sat Commander Tarek. He was no longer in charge, but the new council wanted him to witness the peace talks, to see the future he had tried to prevent. Everyone took their seats. Jewry sat directly across from Tarek. She didn't look away from his cold stare. "Let's begin," said Hyum-Ki, now called Council Leader Hyun-Ki. For 2 hours, they discussed the terms of peace, trade routes, cultural exchanges, technology sharing. The meeting went well. Even Tarek stayed quiet, watching Jewry with a mixture of hate and something else, maybe respect. When they finished, Hyun-Ki announced, "Tomorrow we will sign the official treaty. Today we have accomplished much." As people began to leave, Tarek suddenly spoke. "I want to talk to the human. Alone." The guards looked at Hyun-Ki, who turned to Jewry. "It's your choice." Jewry nodded. "I'll speak with him." The room emptied until only Jewry and Tarek remained, with guards watching from the door. "You've won," Tarek said. "Are you pleased with yourself?" "This isn't about winning," Jewry replied. "It's about survival. For both our peoples." Tarek leaned forward. "You fooled me for 5 years. No one has ever done that." "You made it easy," Jewry said. "You thought humans were weak because we don't have your technology or strength. You never understood our real power." "And what is that?" Tarek asked. "Patience," Jewry said. "Observation. Adaptation. You saw me as a tool, so I became the tool you expected. But I was learning. Always learning." Tarek was quiet for a moment. Then he asked, "What happens to me now?" "That's not my decision," Jewry said. "But the council seems fair, more fair than you were." As Jewry stood to leave, Tarek said one last thing. "The next species might not be as merciful as humans." Jewry stopped at the door. "Then perhaps you should remember this lesson." Later that evening, Jewry stood on the balcony of her quarters. The 3 moons shone bright above the city. Na-young joined her. "What did Tarek want?" she asked. "To understand," Jewry said. "He still can't quite believe that humans outsmarted the mighty Ardeni." Na-young smiled. "You outsmarted them. Not all humans could have done what you did." Jewry shook her head. "I just had to be patient. That's something humans have always been good at, waiting for the right moment." The next day, in a grand ceremony, humans and Ardani signed the first peace treaty between their worlds. Cameras recorded the historic moment. When it was Jewry's turn to sign, she paused and looked at the Ardani Council. 5 years ago, I was brought here as a prisoner, she said. Today, I sign this as a representative of Earth. Our worlds are now connected. Let's build a future better than our past. As she signed her name, Jewry thought of all the dark nights she had spent as a captive, watching the 3 moons and waiting. The girl who waited had finally found her moment to strike, and in doing so, she had changed 2 worlds forever.